It is I, John Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, coming to you today live from an undisclosed location close to Gotham City for you bozos in the National Security Agency. Now, I have more than a few words to say about the shocking news of Detroit, the city of Detroit, filing Chapter 9 bankruptcy. That's right, one of the largest American cities has filed bankruptcy. It is totally unbelievable to some people, but it's not totally unbelievable to me. And I am going to explain to you how this happened and what they can do to get out of bankruptcy. But first, this is how it happened. This is why that the unions don't work in the public sector. I am not an anti-union person at all. I have nothing against unions in the private sector. The steel workers, the auto workers, the coal miners union. I have nothing against them whatsoever. However, in the public service, it's different because the public service unions are paid for with my tax money. And I have every damn right to say exactly how my taxpayer is being spent, but in the case of Detroit, wasted. And they are to blame. These public service unions are partially to blame for what is going on in Detroit. These damn union thugs that run things in Detroit and Michigan, including some of the ones in the private sector, but mostly the private sector, seem to think that everybody on the face of the planet, the taxpayers that is, owes them a country club living style with my money, and it's a bunch of bullshit, and it has already bankrupted this city. There is no doubt in my mind about it. They want retirement, they want pensions, they want medical, they want vision, they want dental, they want it all, and plus they want $29, $30 an hour, and I have to foot the bill. Well, the public service unions around here I have to foot the bill, but you poor son of a bitches in Detroit have to pay for these idiots, and now your city is bankrupt. It is also a cesspool. It is filthy. Dilapidation. Poverty. People spray painting their buildings, telling looters to stay away. It's nothing but anarchy up there. Total anarchy. It's so bad up there that the state of Michigan, who was run by Republicans, had to come in and take over the whole damn thing. And when they went in there and they started looking at the books from the Democrats running things for the last 50 years up there, they had no choice but to file Chapter 9 bankruptcy. That's right. Let's put the blame at the foot of the people that are responsible for what happened in Detroit, the Democratic Party and their friends in the damn unions. They are responsible for what has happened in Detroit. They are the ones that spent all this damn money, and they really didn't even have it. Not to mention the fact their worthless former mayor, Kwame Kilpatrick, how much money do you think he raked out of that? He was indicted and sent to prison on federal corruption charges, and he was the mayor of Detroit for a long time. And guess what? He was an African American, but we don't want to talk about that. But it is true. He's in prison right now. Now, let's go on to the next cause of the problems that they got in Detroit. A lot of the problems that go on in Detroit have to do with something that we talked about, or I talked about, in the last video. It has something to do with the people that live there and the poverty that they live in. Remember, I explained to you the African American unemployment rate. That's right, the national unemployment rate somewhere around 8%. For African Americans, it's over 14%. Now you take the inner cities of Detroit, and God knows how high the unemployment rate is up there, and God knows how many people are on disability, unemployment, welfare, you name it. The number of people getting all that could stagger the imagination. So therefore, here's how it works. If the city of Detroit doesn't have any tax base to collect money on, then they don't have any money, period. You can't spend more than you take in. And hell, if 50% of the people in Detroit are unemployed, on welfare, or disability, they don't pay taxes on that. Therefore, the city of Detroit doesn't have a tax base because everybody's on some sort of government assistance. That's another reason why Detroit is bankrupt. Between the damn unions and all the welfare bums and people on disability and nobody with jobs up there, there's no money for them to have for public service. None whatsoever. And there is why this city is bankrupt. And who's to blame for this? The Democrats are to blame for this. They are the ones that run things up there. They're the ones that run everything in Michigan for about the last 50 years until they elected a Republican governor. And now, these Republicans that are in office now are finding this huge mess that the Democrats left them, and they're trying to fix it. And the only way to fix this screwed up city of Detroit is to file bankruptcy. I saw the pictures on TV today of some of the inner cities in Detroit slums, cars out in people's yards, trash, dilapidation, buildings falling apart. It's unbelievable. Detroit, a major American city, looks like a third world country. It's embarrassing to all of us, and something's got to be done to fix it. Already, the damn liberals on MSNBC are calling on the non-Caucasian in chief to bail out Detroit. That's right. Today, on MSNBC, I hear all these damn Democrats, the ones that created this problem in the first place, are calling on the non-Caucasian in chief to bail out Detroit. Well, I got 6 words for the non-Caucasian in chief. Not with my money, you don't. Not with my money, because I am an American taxpayer, and I don't want to see my money thrown down a damn rat hole that is Detroit. Not with my money. So, now we know where the problem is. The unions and all the welfare bums. That's the problem. So how do we fix the problem? Well, if you're not going to bail them out with federal money, I have an idea for the non-Caucasian in chief. It's not, if you remember this right now, when they bailed out General Motors and Chrysler, they were paying that money back. And they got it, General Motors got it down to $16 billion. Chrysler is somewhere around $20 billion. But the non-Caucasian in chief told them, don't worry about it. You don't have to pay that money back. That's right. That's what the non-Caucasian in chief told General Motors and Chrysler, to the tune, between the two of them, of somewhere around $36 billion that they were told they didn't have to pay back. Well, right there you go. There's $36 billion that the non-Caucasian in chief can ask General Motors and Chrysler to ante up and bail out the city of Detroit. There it is. $36 billion. And there you go. $36 billion to bail them out, and it doesn't involve one dime of the American taxpayers' money. And I guarantee you this right now, nobody is going to say what I just said. And that includes Rush Limbaugh. $36 billion between GM and Chrysler were told by the non-Caucasian in chief that they didn't have to pay him back. So he needs to go to them, get that $36 billion, and then give it to the city of Detroit and keep my money out of it. But if that doesn't work, I have another plan. Now, to use the words of Rahm Emanuel, never let a crisis go to waste. That's right. Never let a crisis go to waste. And guess what? They're having a crisis over in Egypt. So what are we going to do with this crisis? Well, here's how we solve Detroit's problem and our problem all at the same time. We trade the non-Caucasian in chief to the boys in the Muslim hood, better known as the Muslim Brotherhood. That's right. Just trading. Trade the non-Caucasian in chief to the boys in the Muslim hood over in Egypt. And in return for that, we will keep the $1.8 billion in military aid that we were going to give the boys in the Muslim hood, thanks to the non-Caucasian in chief, the man who's not a Muslim. We can keep that money and keep our 4 advanced F-16 fighters. And with all this money that we save, from trading the non-Caucasian in chief to the boys of the Muslim Brotherhood, there will also be some undisclosed amount of cash. I'm thinking somewhere in the tune of, lo and behold, $18 billion. Now we know that the boys of the Muslim Brotherhood are not going to give up a first-round draft pick for the non-Caucasian in chief, the man who is not a Muslim. So the best we could probably hope for in this trade would be a first pick in the second round, a first pick in the second round, and a second pick in the third round, and $18 billion in cash. That's right. And then you could, after we get that money from the boys of the Muslim Brotherhood, we can give it right to Detroit. And once again, it won't cost the American taxpayers a damn dime. And I assure you nobody else is ever going to tell you that. But I will, because I always think outside the box. The only problem with that is that would leave Joe Biscuithead Biden in charge of the whole country. Well, you win some, you lose some. But as for Joe Biden, I got this to say to you once you become president. In the words of the NSA, don't call us, we'll call you. Until next time, this is your favorite conservative, Ronald Reagan, saying this to you right now. Now, the next time that one of our major American cities goes into bankruptcy, I'll have another idea how to bail them out without costing you a damn dime. Until next time, I say this now.